Ty Jordan. In 2020, freshman running back Ty Jordan took the Pac-12 by storm. Playing for the University of Utah, Jordan racked up 597 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns in just 5 games, earning him Pac-12 Offensive Freshman of the Year. His speed and explosiveness instantly made him one of the most exciting young stars in college football. Many believed he had NFL stardom in his future, but tragedy struck on December 26, 2020. While visiting family in Texas, Jordan accidentally discharged a firearm while handling it, suffering a fatal gunshot wound. He was only 19 years old. News of his sudden death spread rapidly across the college football world, leaving fans and teammates in shock. Jordan's death hit especially hard because of the timing. Just days earlier, he had been celebrated nationally for his freshman achievements. Utah coach Kyle Whittingham described him as a wonderful, humble, and hardworking young man. In the aftermath, Utah honored him with the Ty Jordan Memorial Scholarship, and his jersey number 22 was later worn by teammate Aaron Lowe, who tragically was also killed in 2021. Together, their stories became a rallying cry for the Utah program. Curtis Williams, a hard-hitting safety for the University of Washington Huskies, Curtis Williams was known for his aggressive play and leadership in the secondary. In October 2000, during a Pac-10 game against Stanford, Williams delivered a routine tackle but never got back up. He had suffered a severe spinal cord injury that left him paralyzed from the neck down. For nearly 2 years, Williams fought to recover, supported by teammates, coaches, and fans across the country. The Huskies dedicated their 2000 season to him, wearing his number 25 on their helmets as they made a run to the Rose Bowl. His story brought national attention to spinal cord injuries in football, but the toll on his body was immense. On May 6, 2002, Williams died from complications related to his injury at just 24 years old. His passing marked the end of a courageous fight that inspired thousands. Washington football still honors his memory. The Curtis Williams Fund supported his family during his battle, and his number continues to symbolize perseverance and brotherhood within the Husky program. Ernie Davis. In 1961, Syracuse running back Ernie Davis made history as the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy. Known as the Elmira Express, Davis was a powerhouse on the field, rushing for over 2,300 yards and leading Syracuse to national prominence. The Cleveland Browns wasted no time in drafting him number 1 overall in the 1962 NFL Draft, and the football world waited for him to follow in the footsteps of his idol, Jim Brown. But just as his pro career was about to begin, Davis received devastating news. During routine training with the Browns, doctors discovered he had acute monocytic leukemia. His condition was kept secret from the public at first, but by the spring of 1962, it was clear the Heisman winner would never suit up for an NFL game. Despite the diagnosis, Davis remained a symbol of hope. He attended the college All-Star Game banquet and even suited up on the Browns sideline in uniform, though he couldn't play. His teammates and coaches admired his courage, and President John F. Kennedy even sent him a letter praising his strength of character. On May 18, 1963, Davis died at just 23 years old. His funeral in Elmira, New York, drew thousands, and his legacy lived on in the Browns organization and college football history. To this day, Ernie Davis remains one of the greatest what-ifs in NFL history, the superstar who never got to play a single down in the league. By the way, please support my channel by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you. Nile Kinnick. Before World War II, college football had its golden boy, Nile Kinnick of the University of Iowa. In 1939, Kinnick captured the Heisman Trophy after leading the Hawkeyes with dazzling versatility, passing, running, punting, and even playing defense. He became a national icon, delivering one of the most famous Heisman speeches ever, declaring his gratitude to live in a free America unencumbered by the crushing hand of dictators. Kinnick graduated as a national hero, but instead of pursuing a professional football career, he answered the call of duty. He enlisted as a Navy aviator during World War II, trading in his cleats for the cockpit of a fighter plane. His decision was seen as the ultimate sacrifice, giving up fame and fortune to serve his country at its most desperate hour. Tragically, Kinnick's life ended not on the football field, but in the waters near Venezuela. On June 2, 1943, while on a routine training flight, his plane suffered mechanical trouble. Rather than risk endangering his aircraft carrier by attempting a risky landing, Kinnick ditched his plane at sea. His body was never recovered. Iowa later renamed its football stadium Kinnick Stadium in his honor, the only Division I stadium named after a Heisman winner. Nile Kinnick remains a legend in both sports and military history, remembered for his brilliance on the field and his ultimate sacrifice off it. Joe Roth. At the University of California in the mid-1970s, Joe Roth was the golden boy of college football. A charismatic quarterback with pinpoint accuracy, Roth led the Golden Bears to national respect and was named an All-American in 1976. Heading into his senior year, he was a projected top pick in the NFL draft and even considered a Heisman contender. But behind his calm smile, Roth was carrying a secret. In 1975, he was diagnosed with melanoma, a deadly form of skin cancer. He continued to play through pain, never publicly revealing his illness until late in his senior season. Even as his health declined, Roth suited up for Cal and played with unmatched determination, becoming a symbol of courage and resilience. By early 1977, Roth's condition had worsened. Just weeks after playing in the Senior Bowl, he entered the hospital, where teammates and coaches came to say their goodbyes. On February 19, 1977, at only 21 years old, Joe Roth passed away, leaving the football world stunned. To honor him, Cal created the Joe Roth Memorial Game, played annually, and retired his number 12 jersey. His story remains one of the most heartbreaking in college football. A quarterback destined for the NFL who never got the chance. Brandon Burlsworth. In the late 1990s, few stories inspired college football fans more than Brandon Burlsworth's. A former walk-on at Arkansas, Burlsworth transformed himself into a first-team All-American offensive lineman in 1998, earning the respect of teammates and opponents alike. His remarkable rise from an unheralded recruit to an NFL prospect captured national attention. The Indianapolis Colts drafted him in the third round of the 1999 NFL Draft, and his future seemed limitless. But just 11 days after that draft, tragedy struck. On April 28, 1999, while driving home to Harrison, Arkansas, Burlsworth's car crossed the center line, clipped a tractor-trailer, then collided head-on with another vehicle. He was killed instantly at just 22 years old. The news shocked Arkansas and the entire football world. How could a man who had just achieved his NFL dream be gone in an instant? Burlsworth's impact extended far beyond the gridiron. Teammates remembered him as a devout Christian, a scholar, and a leader who set the standard in the weight room and the classroom. His story became the subject of the book Through the Eyes of a Champion, and later the film Greater, which chronicled his inspiring journey. Today, the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation provides scholarships and support for underprivileged children. The Burlsworth Trophy is awarded annually to the best player in college football who began his career as a walk-on, ensuring his legacy inspires generations who dream big. Freddy Steinmark. The Texas Longhorns of 1969 captured a national championship, but their story was forever linked to the courage of one young defensive back, Freddy Steinmark. Undersized at 5 feet 9 inches, 155 pounds, Steinmark wasn't supposed to dominate, yet his heart and hustle made him indispensable to Coach Darrell Royal's defense. He started in nearly every game for Texas and became a fan favorite. But just days after Texas defeated Arkansas in the 1969 Game of the Century, Steinmark felt a sharp pain in his leg. Doctors soon discovered osteogenic sarcoma, a deadly bone cancer. On December 12, 1969, surgeons amputated his left leg above the knee. Despite his devastating diagnosis, Steinmark never stopped inspiring his teammates, even appearing on the sideline just weeks later during the Cotton Bowl Classic on January 1, 1970, when Texas beat Notre Dame for the national title. Steinmark's courage made national headlines. He became a symbol of perseverance and faith, visiting hospitals to encourage other young patients while battling his own disease. His fight brought national attention to cancer research and patient care in sports medicine. Sadly, Steinmark died on June 6, 1971, at just 22 years old. Texas honored him with a statue outside Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, and his story was later immortalized in the film My All-American. His short life left a long-lasting impact on college football. Jack Trice. In 1923, he broke barriers as the first African-American athlete at Iowa State University. A talented tackle, Trice faced hostility and racism whenever his team traveled. On October 6, 1923, in just his second varsity game against Minnesota, Trice sustained devastating internal injuries during a play. He was hospitalized, but insisted he would recover. By the next day, his condition worsened. On October 8, 1923, Trice died at just 21 years old. Many believed racial targeting contributed to the severity of the hits he received, though the controversy was never fully resolved. His death sent shockwaves through Iowa State, where students mourned the loss of a young pioneer who carried himself with quiet dignity. Before the game, Trice had written a letter about his responsibility to his race, stating he would do everything he could to honor those who came before him. Those words were found after his death and became an inspiration to generations of athletes who followed. For decades, Trice's story was overlooked, but in 1997, Iowa State officially named its football stadium Jack Trice Stadium, the only major college football stadium named for an African-American athlete. His legacy endures as a symbol of resilience and trailblazing courage. Sal Aunese. In the late 1980s, he electrified fans as the starting quarterback for the University of Colorado Buffaloes. A charismatic leader from Oceanside, California, he quickly became the heart of the program, leading Colorado to a resurgence in the 1988 season when he was named Big 8 Newcomer of the Year. His dual-threat abilities and fierce competitiveness made him one of the most exciting young players in the country. But in 1989, Sal was diagnosed with inoperable stomach cancer. Despite the devastating prognosis, he remained on the sidelines, encouraging teammates and even delivering halftime speeches during games. His fight against cancer inspired the team and the Boulder community. On September 23, 1989, at just 21 years old, Sal died. The Buffaloes carried his memory onto the field, dedicating the season to him. That fall, Colorado went undefeated in the regular season and played in the Orange Bowl, a tribute to their fallen quarterback. Sal's story remains etched in Colorado football history. His son, T.C. McCartney, later followed in his father's footsteps into football coaching. To this day, Sal is remembered as the quarterback whose courage lifted an entire team and community. Sam Foltz. By 2015, Foltz had become a household name in the Big Ten. As Nebraska's punter, he was known for booming kicks and consistency, earning the Big Ten Punter of the Year award that season. Beyond the field, he was admired for his humility, leadership, and deep roots in his hometown of Greeley, Nebraska. His NFL potential was no secret, and scouts had already taken notice. In July 2016, Foltz attended a specialist camp in Wisconsin alongside several other top punters and kickers. After the event wrapped on July 23, 2016, Foltz and LSU kicker Colby Delahousse got into a car driven by former Michigan State punter Mike Sadler. The car lost control on wet roads, skidded off, and rolled. Sadler and Foltz were both killed in the crash. The tragedy devastated the Nebraska football community. Coach Mike Riley and teammates described Foltz as a once-in-a-generation leader who had become the emotional anchor of the program. His death left Nebraska's season opener against Fresno State marked by raw emotion as the Cornhuskers lined up without a punter on their first play. This moving tribute drew national attention. Foltz's number 27 jersey became a symbol of inspiration for Nebraska athletes. His legacy lives on through scholarships and memorials, reminding fans that he was more than a punter. He was the soul of Nebraska football. Rashidi Wheeler, a starting safety for Northwestern University, was known for his toughness and relentless style of play. He had NFL potential, but in the summer of 2001, during a preseason conditioning drill, Wheeler's life was cut short. On August 3, 2001, he collapsed on the practice field after running sprints. Wheeler, who suffered from asthma, went into respiratory distress and could not be revived. The tragedy sparked national debates about training intensity and medical oversight in college athletics. Northwestern faced lawsuits from Wheeler's family, who argued the drills were excessive and dangerous for a player with his medical condition. The university ultimately reached a settlement. His death devastated his teammates, who entered the 2001 season without one of their defensive anchors. The Wildcats honored him by wearing helmet decals and dedicating the season to his memory. Rashidi Wheeler's passing became part of a larger conversation in the NCAA about player safety, conditioning practices, and medical precautions. His story serves as a stark reminder of the dangers athletes can face even outside of game day. Eraste Autin arrived at the University of Florida as a powerful fullback, expected to be a major contributor for the Gators in the early 2000s. Known for his work ethic and toughness, Autin was the kind of player coaches trusted to set the tone in workouts and on the field. His promising career came during a period when the Gators were national contenders, and he looked poised to carve out his role on a big stage. But on July 19, 2001, during a summer workout on the Gainesville campus, Autin suddenly collapsed in the Florida heat. Despite efforts to revive him, he was pronounced dead shortly after. The official cause was linked to exertional collapse, and his death shocked the program and brought nationwide attention to the dangers of heat-related incidents in football training. His passing sparked deeper conversations about athlete safety, hydration, and monitoring during high-intensity drills. Autin's teammates were devastated, many pointing out his dedication and leadership both in the locker room and off the field. Florida has kept his memory alive through team tributes and conversations about player welfare. Nick Bell. At 6 feet 3 inches, 265 pounds, Nick Bell was a rising defensive end for Mississippi State University in the late 2000s. Known for his relentless motor and SEC toughness, Bell earned playing time early and quickly became a standout on the Bulldogs' defense. By 2010, his name was already on NFL draft radars, and he was considered one of the young stars to watch in the conference. But in October 2010, Bell was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer. The speed of its progression stunned his coaches and teammates. Within just weeks of his diagnosis, his health declined rapidly. On November 2, 2010, Bell died at age 20 in a Jackson, Mississippi hospital. His death was mourned across the SEC. Mississippi State held a candlelight vigil, and teammates carried his number forward as a symbol of strength. The outpouring of grief showed just how deeply Bell had touched those around him in such a short time. Heath Benedict. In Division II football, Heath Benedict of Newberry College was a star, a dominant offensive lineman. He was a two-time Division II Little All-American, earning respect from scouts for his size and strength. By 2008, he was firmly on the NFL's draft radar, projected as a possible mid-round pick with the potential to develop into a pro starter. But tragedy struck weeks before the draft. On March 23, 2008, Benedict was found dead at his Jacksonville, Florida apartment. He was only 24 years old. The cause was determined to be heart-related, specifically an enlarged heart, which had gone undetected during his playing career. His death highlighted the hidden health risks athletes sometimes face despite rigorous physicals and testing. Scouts and coaches who had been preparing to call his name on draft day instead joined his family and teammates in mourning. Newberry College retired his jersey and honored him with tributes, remembering him not just as a star on the line, but as a leader in the locker room. His unrealized potential remains one of college football's saddest what-ifs. Jasper Howard. On the night of October 17, 2009, Jasper Howard had just recorded a career-best 11 tackles for the University of Connecticut in a homecoming victory over Louisville. The Huskies' star cornerback was on the rise, his NFL dreams growing closer each week. But only hours later, his life was tragically cut short. Early on October 18, 2009, during a campus dance, Howard was stabbed in an altercation outside the student union. He was rushed to the hospital but died shortly after. He was only 20 years old. The devastating news spread quickly, shaking the entire Yukon community. Howard's death came at a time when his star was ascending. A Miami native, he had fought through adversity to reach Division I football and was considered one of the program's toughest players. His teammates and coaches remembered him as a fighter, both on and off the field. Yukon honored him by painting a large JH at midfield and dedicating the rest of the season to his memory. Devon Darling. In 2000, he joined Florida State University as part of a highly touted recruiting class. A talented wide receiver with size and speed, he had all the tools to eventually reach the NFL. But Darling carried the sickle cell trait, a condition that would play a deadly role in his career. On February 26, 2001, during an off-season workout at FSU, Darling collapsed after grueling drills. His twin brother, Devard, who later went on to play in the NFL, was on the same team and witnessed the tragedy unfold. Despite medical efforts, Devon Darling was pronounced dead from complications linked to the sickle cell trait. He was just 18 years old. The loss devastated Florida State. Coach Bobby Bowden and teammates mourned a young man they believed would have been a star. His death also highlighted the dangers of extreme conditioning drills, sparking conversations across college football about medical monitoring and sickle cell screening. In 2021, the Florida legislature approved a claims bill awarding $2 million to Darling's family, acknowledging the state's role in his death. Dale Lloyd II came to Rice University in Houston with dreams of building a football legacy. A defensive back, Lloyd was praised for his toughness and potential to anchor the Owls' secondary. But his career, and life ended in tragedy before it could fully take shape. On September 24, 2006, during a team workout, Lloyd suddenly collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital and died the following day at just 19 years old. His autopsy revealed that he had the sickle cell trait, a condition linked to multiple sudden deaths among college athletes during strenuous workouts. The NCAA later adopted mandatory screening for sickle cell trait largely because of Lloyd's case. His death became a turning point in college football's approach to athlete safety and medical precautions. Rice University honored him with tributes and memorials. Ted Agu was a walk-on defensive lineman at the University of California, Berkeley, who had fought hard to earn his place on the team. Known for his work ethic and determination, Agu represented the spirit of a true underdog story, and teammates respected him deeply. On February 7, 2014, Agu participated in an off-season conditioning run with his teammates. During the session, he collapsed and later died. He was just 21 years old. An autopsy revealed he carried the sickle cell trait, which contributed to his death during the high-intensity workout. The tragedy reverberated throughout college football. Cal faced lawsuits, eventually settling with Agu's family. The case shed light on the risks associated with sickle cell trait and the responsibility of universities to better protect their athletes. Jordan McNair, a promising offensive lineman for the University of Maryland, was only 19 years old when his life ended far too soon. A 325-pound freshman with big upside, McNair had the size and talent to one day reach the NFL. His coaches believed he could become a cornerstone of their offensive line. On May 29, 2018, during an off-season workout, McNair collapsed after running conditioning sprints in extreme heat. He was rushed to the hospital but died on June 13, 2018, from complications of exertional heat stroke. His death set off an investigation into Maryland's football program and its training practices. The fallout was enormous. Head coach D.J. Durkin was placed on administrative leave and eventually fired after reports detailed a toxic culture of excessive training and poor medical oversight. The case became a national scandal, raising alarms about the treatment of student athletes. Maryland later reached a financial settlement with McNair's family. A.J. Simon was one of the brightest stars at the University at Albany, a defensive end who dominated the FCS level with his size, speed, and relentlessness off the edge. In 2023, Simon put together a breakout season, racking up 12.5 sacks and 21.5 tackles for loss, earning All-America honors and positioning himself as a legitimate 2024 NFL draft prospect. Scouts saw him as a potential steal, a small school standout with big league upside. But just days before the biggest moment of his life, tragedy struck. On April 17, 2024, only a week before the NFL draft, Simon unexpectedly died at age 25. The cause was not immediately released, and the football world was stunned by the sudden loss. His teammates and coaches described him as a warrior on the field and a beloved presence in the locker room. The timing of his death made it especially heartbreaking. Simon had worked tirelessly to reach the doorstep of the NFL, and instead of celebrating his draft call, his family and teammates found themselves planning his memorial. The University at Albany Athletic Department called him a pillar of our program, a testament to how deeply he was respected. Today, Simon's story stands as one of the most tragic in recent football memory. A young man who had fought his way to the edge of a professional career, only to be taken just before crossing that finish line. Do you think I missed any names that should be on the list? Please mention them in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to be posting a lot more interesting videos on the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you very much.